Infection, written and read by Kiah Olowu. They call our cultures a disease. Now they label their hatred the same thing. As of yesterday, November 16th, 2025, racism will be classified as a mental illness. Read that again. I'm sure this is great news for many and no surprise for others. For me, there's nothing that has happened in the past or present that should make this future shocking to anyone. This is what happens when the global puppeteers are tasked with destroying a systemic issue so beneficial to them. Why would the powers that be work to eradicate racism when it is a key cornerstone of their foundation? If you're like me, this new classification means that you now have to excuse your white English teacher who would gleefully say the N-word at any given opportunity with the weak defense that everyone must read what's on the page. And of course, the N-word is not what they said. They said the N-word. And that's why the idea of reading of Mice and Men traumatizes you to this day. Please don't judge your classmate who barely spoke throughout the term, but was suddenly frothing at the mouth when given the golden ticket to say the magic word. You went along with it because you were too young to know whether it was acceptable or not. It wasn't. And the pit in your stomach was the warning. I'm afraid we're supposed to accept that these recurrent incidents were neither the teacher's nor the student's fault. When that student grows up to be a professor and spews the word again during your 9 o'clock lecture before you've even had a chance to wipe the sleep from your eyes, don't blame the executive board for deeming it nothing to take issue with. You should have known that their duty of care didn't apply to you. It also means that the 10 police officers who stopped and searched your dad, brother, son, and friend, or depending on the weather, your mum, sister, wife, and daughter. Nor should you question why they were thrown to the ground and put in a chokehold until they lost breath. Resulted in a murder, on top of receiving a slap on the wrist or even less, the officers would be handed delicately because they were ill. Of course, this isn't a black and white issue, and unfortunately the examples above can be interchanged with the relevant slurs, prejudices, and experiences that apply to all other racially minoritized groups in this great country. It's safe to assume that everyone with actual mental health illnesses and issues would be pushed to the back of the line. Of course, if you're working class, poor, trans, non-white, neurodiverse, not straight, or have a disability, this is probably already the case, but at least you know for sure where your life-changing resources are going. Finally, for those of you who find yourselves regularly running to Ofcom to complain when you see more than one blackface, God forbid a whole family, in a John Lewis advert, but simultaneously claim not to see colour, this part is for you. I'm no doctor, but you might need to call your GP because these behaviours sound like early symptoms of this new illness called racism. It was 10 a.m. when I got to the office. Now the moon is creeping up as the sun leaves its burnt orange residue on the navy sky. My boss and best friend, Isaiah, is towering over me, looking intently at my laptop screen. My arms are performatively spread across my desk, trying to hide the clutter-covered surface. Books, work laptop with a live stream of the news, work notebook with the least offensive version of my article, and my home notebook with the version containing all the expletives. Isaiah stands with glasses on nose, thumb and forefinger on chin, and a mouth free of words. A tiny part of his temples red and raised, some sort of bite maybe. Ever since Jaddy's attack, I noticed every mark, blemish, and scar on her face. Isaiah is at times what one may call taciturn, the kind to respond to 4 paragraphs with a sentence. His words only flood when he's deciding what to publish, except for now. Why he would manage a group of opinionated overthinkers and overachievers instead of working peacefully elsewhere as a diversity hire compiling videos of the week's funniest memes and London's best zero waste restaurants, I don't know. That said, when you come from money and don't have to work, why not do something as thrilling as running a magazine that at once highlights the talents of the community and specializes in social critique from the point of view of Black Brits, or Black Brits, Black people living in Britain, or the African and Caribbean diaspora, whichever distinction you prefer. I was minutes from leaving the office when the ever-dramatic dun 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 from Channel 7's breaking news, which is always on for research purposes, came through the speakers. The broadcaster announced that the World Health Organization has now categorized racism under Chapter 5, Mental and Behavioral Disorders, of the International Classification of Disease, ICD-10, as a personality and behavioral disorder. In response to this, the English government will devise the most effective treatments to support those suffering, and it will update the public with developments as they come. I wasn't shocked or confused or angry at this news. In fact, I laughed. A long, tearful belly laugh, while my colleagues looked at me like I told a joke by a graveside.